some questions about her experience interrailing. So, how old were you when you went interrailing?
I went interrailing when I was 18. It was during the Easter holidays of my first year at university.
So how did you find out about Interrail?
I think it was one of those things that students just knew about from speaking to other people at university. Obviously, there was no internet, so I think it was more through word of mouth.
Did you go by yourself or with somebody else?
I went with a friend from university. I don't think I would have had the courage to do it on my own, and to be honest, I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much.
Which places did you visit?
We went to Salzburg, Vienna, Munich, Budapest, Venice, Rome, Thessaloniki, Athens, Crete, Paris, but not necessarily in that order.
How much money did you bring with you?
Very little, too little in fact. Obviously the euro didn't exist yet, so each country we went to had its own currency. Often we would spend a day in one country and the next day we would be in another. So we took traveller's checks in order to not have to change more than was absolutely necessary. I remember in Munich we took advantage of a wine tasting to eat the biscuits that they were handing out together with the wine. And in Vienna, all we had to eat the day that we were there was just one piece of Sachertorte because we couldn't afford anything else.
Still talking about money, how much did you spend for the Interrail pass?
My Interrail pass cost £115 in 1984 and I still have it. And there you go.
Because you didn't have a phone or any type of technology, how did you plan where to go?
Well, we had no mobile phone or any sort of technological gadget apart from a camera. So I remember when you bought the Interrail pass, they gave you a map. So we planned out more or less the places that we wanted to go to, but our planning was very flexible. And often we did actually change it en route. For example, I remember when we arrived at Budapest, which at the time was still behind the Iron Curtain, we came out of the station and started walking towards the town, but we felt very ill at ease, so we turned around and went back to the station and got on the next train. Also, when we got to Piraeus in Greece, we basically just got on the first boat that was leaving and we ended up on Crete.
And also, how did you find the hostels or hotels where to stay?
Well, very often what would happen was that when you got off the train, there would be a load of people coming up to you because they would recognise you as an interrailer and they would offer you hostel rooms or hotel rooms. For example, I remember when we got off the train in Venice, a guy came up to us and offered us a room in his house, which ended up being in Mestre, which was the next town along. I think we must have had a book though about youth hostels because in quite a few of the places that we went to we actually ended up staying in youth hostels. The best one was definitely in Heraklion on Crete because basically the hostel was still being built. So it was just a skeleton structure in cement with no roof. And we were on the first floor. We basically slept on mattresses on the floor. And there were no windows, no roof, so I was just sleeping under the stars, basically.
Would you go interrailing again today, maybe with your family?
To be honest, I don't think I would do it now, and I don't think I would do it with a family. The idea of traveling for a month with a rucksack or a suitcase from one place to the next doesn't really have the same appeal as it did when I was 18.
Would you have gone to visit more places if you had more time or money?
I think for me a month was enough. You get to feel the need for a proper meal and a proper shower after a while.
And the last question, did you consider it to be good or bad experience? Would you recommend it to other people?
It was a brilliant experience and I would definitely recommend it. We saw so many places and we had so many interesting experiences. Not all of them were positive, of course, but it's certainly an experience that young people should try.